Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am calling this meeting to order. Mike Garza is going to be a little bit late. He told me that he had another meeting that he will likely be coming a little late to. So we would like to start the meeting with a flag salute. And we'll see how it goes for me to just make this up. So if we can all start. I Okay, thank you. We would like to welcome all of the guests to this meeting. I saw that there was quite a few, and so hopefully you will all enjoy or get to experience a meeting if you haven't before. I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I will second that.
Okay, I'm discovering that I'm on my son's Chromebook and I have no sound. I've got to figure out how to turn you all up. All in favor, say aye and raise your hand, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, 4 yay and no nay. And I'll be trying to text my son. Do we have any, I don't know how you can tell me if there's any public comments. I guess you can text me, Talia, if there's any public comments.
There are no public
Okay,
comments, Jen.
Oh dear. Hopefully all the technical difficulties will just be on my side. Okay, let's see. We have no public comment, so let's go on to elections. We need to elect as a board a student rep mentor, a president pro tem, and a WIAA representative. All of those are 1-year terms. There's got to be a way I can figure out how to do this on my own, seriously. All right. Let's see. Oh! All right, somebody say something else.
Can you hear us now?
Oh, yes, oh, thank heavens. You may need to stay close by. All right. Okay, any nominations? Let's start with a student rep mentor. I would like to nominate Lindsay as our student rep mentor.
I'll second that. Is it right?
Okay.
Okay.
Any other nominations for student rep mentor? Okay, Lindsay, would you accept that position?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All in favor of Lindsay as a student rep mentor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Okay. Now let's do election of a president pro tem. This position is, I guess I didn't say what student rep mentor was. I think we as a board know. But this position is if both the president and the vice president are unable to attend a meeting, they run the meeting. So
I'll nominate Ken for president pro tempore.
Ken, with that face, I'm not sure you're accepting that.
Yes, Lindsay, that's why we have it on this agenda now, because you weren't at the last meeting, but I turned it down last time. Actually, I would like to see you in that spot, if you would accept it.
Sure. Sure.
So I nominate Lindsay for that position.
I would like to second that. Is there any other nominations for president pro tem? Okay, with no other nominations, let's vote. All in favor of Lindsay for a president pro tem, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Lindsay, I didn't hear or see you.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Aye.
So, perfect. 4 in favor, 4 out of 4. Then election of WIAA representative. So can somebody even tell us what that represents?
I was that for the previous year, and I just kept in contact with Jenny McCourty and answered any questions that she had, which were none because she's brilliant at her job. So I really didn't do much. But hopefully, since things are a little trickier this year, getting back into sports, there will be a more active role for the school board member, and it can help our district get back into sports. But as of last year, I don't have any like great wisdom.
Ese que te lo mandó para Jimmy, ¿para quién es? Jimmy!
He has some wisdom, apparently.
Okay, any nominations for WIA representative?
So
I'll nominate Sharon.
I was going to do the same thing there, but I will second that nomination.
Sharon, will you accept that nomination? You're on mute.
Oh, sorry, I have a different thing and there's no touch tone. Yes, I could accept that one.
Okay, is there any other nominations for WIAA representative? All right, all in favor of Sharon as the WIAA representative, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Sharon, you have to vote. Okay. All right, 4 in favor from 4 present. All right, wonderful. Now we're going to board member discussions. So for the legislative report, today started the session for the legislation at the state, and I don't know if any of you have seen the governor's, he came out with his capital budget, and then I heard some evaluations from, Chris, was that WASBO? Was that the conference, the webinar that we both went to?
WASDA or WASA?
WASA. It was a WASA webinar, and their opinions of that. So that was interesting, and we'll just see how it goes, and I'll keep you updated. So board self-assessment from our last regular meeting. Can you go into that, please? We did have 4 responses, much better than we've had in the past. Yep, if you could keep going down a little bit. The agenda was well planned to focus on the real work of the board, 3 commendable and 1 good. The board followed its agenda, did not allow itself to get sidetracked. 2 good, 2 commendable. The board deliberations and decision-making processes were public, 1 good, 3 commendable. All board members participated in discussion, no one dominated, 1 poor, 2 good, 1 commendable. Members listened attentively, avoiding side conversation, 2 good, 2 commendable. And then suggestions are, let the board chair run the meeting, and in an environment of virtual meetings, we have managed to conduct our business timely and orderly. Any other comments or something that someone wants to share there? We did have 1 poor, so, okay. All right, next section. The board actions occurred at the policy level rather than at the operational level. 4 yes. The board agenda referenced policy about each topic that was discussed. 4 yes. The board chair helped the board efficiently conduct its meetings. 3 yes and 1 no. The board supported the superintendent in any reasonable interpretation of its policies. 2 yes, 2 not applicable. And then a comment of thanks for making the meetings run smoothly. Any other comments there? Or things that people want to share? Next is the board started with a broad statement and became more detailed in a logical and disciplined sequence. 1 yes, 1 no, and 2 not applicable. The board asked the superintendent to provide its reasonable interpretation of the policy. 1 yes and 3 not applicable out of 4 answers. And overall marks of the meeting, 3 were good, and we only got 3 answers. So great. That is much better response than what we've had for quite some time. So that's wonderful. Let's see. Dates. Thank you, Talia, for sending out that email. That I think that really helped us. Other board members, any comments or thoughts on?
No, I thought that was a great way to do it. It was just a good reminder for afterwards when we go through and check our emails. And
Right.
keep that up.
I wish we would have thought of that or had that suggested long ago. That would have really helped us, I think, quite some time ago. So dates for future student representatives. Technically, January 1st is when we are supposed to have had Lauren rotate out, but we had never discussed that. So are we ready to discuss or start thinking about new possible dates?
I think actually in March sometime would be a good time. That would give, because our high school is scheduled to be coming in towards the end of this month, and that would give a good month, and we could start to get the word out there in February and then maybe in March.
Okay. I do
Agreed.
like the March idea.
Oh, sorry,
Lindsay?
go ahead. I was just saying, I agree with Ken. I don't think that we're ready right now by any means. Especially without having kids in school. I just don't think we're going to have a strong pool of applicants, and we need to give it a little more time.
I can agree with the March timeframe as well. And that'll give Lauren and Elise both a little bit of time to work on some of the plans that they have, some of the stuff that they got going on that they want to implement. And Lauren can be a
Right.
part of that and a mentor to whoever takes her place.
Question, when is Elise done?
I think that it has it on that policy. When we look at that later on, I think it's like July 1st. Elise, are you here? Do you know what your date is?
I have no idea.
Jen, yes, Jen, she is done at the end of the school year, July 1st.
Okay. So we do have a board meeting on March 22nd. What if we tentatively set up to have interviews at that meeting? That will be almost 2 months worth of high school in session. And as we had always said, any high schooler, not a senior.
Can I ask for clarification?
Yes.
Typically before we have student rep interviews, we go through a policy governance training with them. Is that something that the board is interested in doing prior to them interviewing and applying?
Well, we as a board want to have a training on that. What do you all think? I doubt that would be before.
I don't think we should do it before they interview. That's just my opinion.
Ken, you're on mute.
I think it scared off a few possible applicants last time when we did that, because we had a great turnout for the training, but when it come time to turn in the application, we had few.
I think it's just unnecessarily overwhelming. So I think we should wait until they interview and then give them a synopsis, but it's too much information in one night. It's intimidating, it's overwhelming, and just like Ken said, it scares people off. So I don't think we should do that until after they apply for it and we interview. Also, can student reps run more than one time?
Yes.
Or is it a one-term position?
We never really defined that, but I don't think that any of us would have a problem with that. What, anyone else?
I don't have a problem with it.
I don't have a problem, and she really hasn't been able to do as much as she wanted to do this year. And she's still young enough, isn't she? If she wants to, that is.
Elise, you're a sophomore?
Yeah, I am a sophomore. And I also wanted to add regarding the meeting thing before the student reps run, I just wanted to say I agree with Lindsay and Ken. I think it's really overwhelming, and I think it turned away a lot of students that wanted to do it.
Okay. And with us doing 3 trainings a year, I think that we would be inviting student reps to come to those. And maybe we could just make that one when we do policy governance, that one could be a mandatory one.
Yeah,
Or
that
we
works.
could decide at that time. So. Okay. Any other questions or thoughts on future student reps? Okay. All right. Let's move on to Desert Oasis High School site visit draft agenda. So we're looking at February 2nd, and there's 2 different possible scenarios on how we can do it, because likely throughout, my opinion is throughout the rest of the year, the governor will, the school year, the governor will continue to extend his executive order and make it so we cannot be in person, especially with the legislature not being able to be in person. So these are actually Talia's ideas about how we can accommodate that. Can you give us some details, Talia?
Yes. So what we were thinking is, because of the governor's proclamation and OPMA, we cannot have more than 2 board members in the same given place at a time. And in order for us to still go ahead and conduct a meeting, we can go ahead and start with 8 a.m. at Desert Oasis with staff interviews with Group 1, which Group 1 we identified as Jen and Ken, in person, and then Group 2 and 3 over Zoom. What we were thinking is possibly using the gym area at DOHS and then projecting the 3 board members that cannot be in person at that time on the big screen so that everybody can see them, and also the board to be able to see the individuals who are in the room. From there, we would have a break of Zoom sessions, and Group 1, since they're already on site, they would go and visit classrooms. In between classrooms and the student meeting, there'd be a 30-minute gap, because it would allow some time for, everybody to switch spots. So what we would do is invite Group 2 to come in person, and Group 1 and 3 would do the student meeting on Zoom. Then Group 2 would go to classroom visits, and then admin presentation, we could have all of the groups on Zoom for that one. And then Group 3 could come and visit classrooms later on in the afternoon. I know that this is a little bit crazy, and there's going to be some stops, goes on this version and this option, but it does allow for all the board members to be at the school site that same day, just kind of rotating between all the board members. Now, option number two would mean that we would have to use, well, not have to, but possibly use this throughout all of our site visits with all of the schools. And what we would do is Group 1 would be in person for Desert Oasis High School. And then let's say if Wajitas is our next school site, then Group 2 would be in person that whole day. And then we'll have Group 3, and then we'll just go ahead and rotate by school. Then later on in the evening, or actually in the morning up until 11 a.m., Group 1, 2, and 3 would go visit classrooms in between after every session or every group leaves. So that's how we would be conducting that one, in order to make sure that we could have it minimized and a lot less crazy than option 1. But definitely that is up to the board as far as which option you all prefer.
Thoughts?
Option 2 for me, just for time's sake. Option 1, having to come back for Group 3, which is Lindsay by herself even, but having to come after lunch and stuff, I think would be a little cumbersome. Option 2 is jam-packed, but at least it's a 3-hour time frame that I think would be a little more suitable. That's just my opinion.
I would agree with you, Mike.
Same. I would rather, I I hate to drag it out for the school's sake, to drag it out clear till, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So if we can get in and get out of there before lunch, I think that's probably best.
Sharon?
sorry. I liked them both. But 2 will be fine. I think that the shorter time, I see the other one does go a lot longer into the afternoon. So.
Okay.
Okay, so here's a question. And this is just a question. So I'm asking the board, do you find it necessary that all 3 groups have to do classroom visits? Or would group 1 do classroom visits and then report to the board what they saw and give the board a kind of a synopsis? Because the rest of the board will be there in Zoom for everything else except for the classroom visits. So is that something that like we find necessary that each group does separate classroom visits, or that just like in this instance, group 1 that's already there in person would do it and then just report back to the board? Any thoughts?
Great question.
I, for one, would like to do the classroom visits, and I'm in group 2.
Okay.
Ken, Sharon, what do you think?
No, I enjoy the group. I say I'm in group 1, so I will be doing the classroom visits, and I really enjoy those, getting to see the students.
Okay. Then
Sharon?
then option 2 is the winner.
I like to see the classroom also.
Okay. And I know that staff had said quite a few times they wanted to see us on campus more often. I know we're going to be doing a whole bunch of site visits in half of a year instead of. Okay, so I think it's.
I'm sorry, Jen. Is there any way that since we're not going to be together and we're in separate groups, we could all do classroom visits from 9:30 to 10 though?
There's very few classes and there's only one administrator at Desert
Okay.
Oasis.
Just to clarify, just the board cannot be in the same building at the same time.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying that. Right. So for fear we might like see each other. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Governor.
Then
Okay.
also
Yes.
we get clarification from the board on the number of students and the student groups that we would like to see at Desert Oasis.
That's a great question. We have typically said 2 students per grade level, but Desert Oasis is very unique. They are heavily 2 grades. Do we want to say like 10 or so?
I would say whatever we can keep, like follow the rules and fit in the same classroom.
Okay.
I think we look back at the number, whatever it was in prior visits, I think would be okay. I don't think it was quite 10, might have been, but
Right.
Yeah, what fits in a room, I think, is something we need to look at this time around.
Right, because for Desert Oasis, if we had 10 students, that's 10% of their population. And we've always been very specific about what kind of students we want to see. In other buildings, we've said like those students that have made 2 years worth of growth. Desert Oasis you can't measure things at a high school like that. But do we want to be specific about what students we see at Desert Oasis, or just a nice mix?
I would say a nice mix. Again, as far as grades and things this go around, I don't know what that would look like right now with the situation the way it's been. So I would just Principal Tovar get us a good mix of what he feels would be a good representation of his school.
Ken?
I was just going to kind of say the same thing, a good mix. Every time we visited that school, we've always had a wonderful group of kids, and they've all got a story to tell why they are there. So, and I think we'll get that again in that group.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions about the site visit that we need to address? Okay, great. I'm so thrilled we're starting to do site visits. Okay, we need to discuss joint school board city council meeting topics. We are the one that are actually running this meeting, and this is this a Wednesday or Thursday?
So Jen, if I could just speak really quick.
Please.
I spoke to the mayor and he asked that we schedule this meeting for February as it is a very crazy busy time for them.
Okay.
He did mention, he did propose 2 dates and he proposed Tuesday, February 9th at 6 p.m. or Tuesday, February 16th at 6 p.m.
9th or the 16th.
Yes.
So the 16th is right after President's Day. Does anyone have I mean, are we okay with that?
I would prefer the 16th if possible.
Okay.
The 16th will work for me. I will be out of town and we will actually be arriving back on that day and I do not have a time. So if I had a preference, I would have to say the 9th.
So Ken, you're the 9th. Lindsay, you're the 16th.
I
Sharon
would
and
rather
Mike?
the 9th. I would rather the 9th also. There's a chance I won't be here on the 16th.
Sharon.
We can't hear you.
Are you on mute, Sharon?
I just need to run around the corner and look at my calendar real quick.
Personally, I'm fine with both days, so. So Ken and Mike, you were the 9th and Lindsay, you were the 16th, right?
Yes, either day is fine with me.
Okay. Lindsay, you're on mute.
I guess that happens to everybody, huh? I won't be here on the 9th, but that's okay. You guys can handle it without me. I'm totally fine with that. So the 9th.
Okay. Great. Talia, can you email the mayor and tell him, since he's the one that gave you those dates, the 16th and at 6 p.m., is that correct?
Yes.
Great.
Meaning
The
the 9th.
9th. The 9th.
Sorry, the 9th. I knew that.
As far as topics, he did mention that, as he recalls, OSD was going to give City Council a report on the restart of in-person learning and future plans for facilities. And then he would be giving a presentation to OSD about the recent investments that they plan to make in the youth of Othello at Lions Park and a summary of their activities and focus on the farmers market.
Perfect. Can you put on the schedule for the meeting? Is that on the 8th that we meet again? That's the closest to that. I think that's too soon. On the 25th of January, put this topic again so that we can see if there's any other specifics that we needed to address.
Will do.
Sound good to everybody else? Okay. Seeing a head nod. All right. Okay, Wahidas visit discussion. So Wahidas invited us in groups of 2s or 1 to come and listen to their administrative report. Since they really wanted to get us on campus since their site visit, we had to cancel with the current state of affairs for us meeting. Just wanted to hear any specific thoughts since we weren't together. I know that we all heard the same presentation. Any specific thoughts or things people want to share?
Well, I'd like to start by commending the administrators of Wahidas, the entire staff, I mean, the entire workforce. It was very, very informative. It was very detailed as to how they prepared throughout the summer. It was very focused. It was very in line with the situation that we thought would happen at the beginning of the year, and then when it went to all online, and then when it came out of online, and everything else that happened, and it was very good to see that for Wahidas, the online experience wasn't as dramatic, I guess, in the wrong sense as other schools perhaps. They attained great buy-in from their staff. They were very goal-oriented. They were very consistent with their methodology, and it was just good to see some of the numbers that were coming out of some of their assessments that they presented and things of that nature. Very focused, and it was good. It was a good presentation. I was very glad that they took the time to show that to us. And again, kudos to the entire staff at Wahitas.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I swear, anytime I hear something from Wahitas, it always leaves me feeling inspired, and their passion is contagious. And I felt like they did a really great job. And the admin has just really great leadership, and you can tell in the way that trickles down into their school, and how the buy-in, like Mike said, and the passion that they have from their teachers, it's very impressive. So I thought it was great, and I loved their presentation and them talking about getting the buy-in from their teachers and working on the assessments and all that kind of stuff. It was really, really inspiring.
I was with Lindsay. Oh, sorry, Ken.
No, good, Karen.
I was with Lindsay, and I felt the same. It was very enlightening to me, and I like to see that all over our whole community in our schools, because they have a great backup system with their teachers with them. So it was really good.
Yeah, and I would have to agree. I really love the attitude, what they have charged forward with during this pandemic and all the situations that they've had. And you know what? And I just got it that out of there that these have been great challenges for them, but they have went straight forward with them, and they have not let it stop them at all, any of these challenges, and they just keep on pressing forward, and it's producing some great results.
Right. I think that that both Sandy and Justin make a wonderful whole together as leaders. And it was great to be able to see how they work. I think that I've always known that they work really well together. And that's so important for all versions of leadership. And just because we've seen this in person on a site, and it's been so long since we've actually had any version of a site visit, but that they reached out to us and invited us, I thought that was, great. And I know that not just that campus, but those individuals are constantly striving to improve and achieve and to do better. And how can that not trickle down when you have a great unit working together? I think it's so easy to see certain talents come to the surface immediately with certain individuals. And sometimes we always want to praise those talents, but there's so many more. And not just with that campus. I think that we see that everywhere. I think that we've seen that and heard about that with amazing teachers all over and stuff. This is just one of those campuses we've just been on most recently. And so I hope no one's being offended. No other staff or other buildings and campuses are being offended by the good things that we're saying about Wahitas. It's just, we were just there, and it was great to see that companionship working together so well, I think. So it was great. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, not at all intended that way. No, I hope that doesn't come out that way. Our entire district has done an awesome job. And I'm sure once we go around to all the schools, we'll hear all these awesome stories. I have no doubt in my mind that is the case. Something I forgot to mention earlier was that I loved Sandy's setting the bar high, and why not? What's the worst that can happen? And I think that is part of why the success at this particular site is there. the bar is set high, and she keeps folks accountable. She holds them accountable to trying to achieve these things. So no, I need a kudos what you said. This is not discriminatory in any way of all our staff. OSD, you all rock. Every single one of you guys are doing an awesome job. Great job.
Right. I think we're all excited now that we have a plan of moving forward. And I know that we're going to be looking at the policy agenda for the rest of the year. Wahidas right now is much further down in the list. And so once we get to policies, maybe we can discuss if we, just because we've basically already seen the administrator's report, not that they couldn't redo it when we're there, but I do want to discuss, do we want to move them up and just like finish a site visit there, since we've already basically gotten that part when we're there, or do we want to leave them in the mix where they're currently scheduled? So, all right, anything else about the Wahidas visit? Okay, let's move
May I
on
just
to,
add, Jen?
yes.
I just wanted to just share with the board, I too have been on all of those visits at Wahidas, and I was complimentary as well as far as their processes, their thinking, and the leadership. Also had a side conversation with some board members and just shared equally, I'm excited about our other leaders within the district and also about the process. We talked about the data-wise process and that all of our schools and leaders are engaging in that process. Some of us are in different places than others, but all of us are engaging in that process. So just wanted to make sure that we acknowledge that as well, as far as the other schools.
Great. Thank you for mentioning that and for sharing, Chris. Okay, let's go to student representative reports. Only because you're listed first. Elise, would you like to go first?
I don't really have anything to share. I just wanted to say I think everyone's really excited to be going back to school soon.
I think those of us that are parents are thrilled beyond belief as well. All right, Lauren.
Hi. Tonight I just wanted to share a little bit. So I had a ASB meeting today, and the leadership team, Terry Perez, and the student body were ready to get back in the building, and we're going to start decorating. So when we come back, we're going to be jam-packed with school spirit. And there's one more thing I was going to mention. Oh, the ASB kids will be making a video to show to the student body about the new rules and things that we have to follow when we get back on campus.
Could someone send that to the board as well? I know that my high school sophomore was listening to advisory today and scoffing at the rules. And I was like, what? You don't think you can follow those? So please, could you have someone include the board in that? Because that would just be fun for us, I think, to watch and just to see ASB members talking about that. So
I will make sure that it gets sent to you guys. We want to try to make it funny too, so you guys can laugh at us as well.
Great.
I'm excited to see it, Lauren. Your excitement is contagious, and I'm super happy for you guys.
Yes. Okay, anything else from student reps?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you both. All right, let's go on to required approvals. I have a couple of quick questions about accounts payable. Adams County Health Department, we are paying $2,000 to and change. What is that for, please?
So the district food service program is regulated and inspected by the health department. So there are regulatory fees for inspection and health cards, and that is a payment for that.
Okay. So like just the yearly food permits is what it sounds like you're saying.
That's correct.
Details. And then next was
Permit.
Okay. Microcomputer systems for 139,000.
So the district was a beneficiary of the governor's allocation of additional CARES money for Chromebooks. And so this $139,000 is for the purchase of those Chromebooks. And I don't remember the exact number. I'm thinking it was around 400. And it will be reimbursed through grant.
Okay.
Couple
And then
of
if you can
laptop-
go,
Pardon?
sorry, keep going.
There were a couple of laptops that were purchased
Okay.
on that bill.
And the capital funds page. So my question was all of this for preschool, or was there some different breakouts? I know that we're doing a lot of different things for preschool.
Yeah, this is the
Have them.
final payment. This is the final payment for the portables. So-
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Great.
And then we've also got a payment for some fencing and gates for the high school track. That was the landscaping bill.
Okay.
Okay.
So that was the final landscaping for our track remodel. So that will be the last of those payments for that remodel.
I would say that I probably, but I won't guarantee it 100%.
Okay.
Okay, just because I don't know. Okay.
Right.
Does that sound like a fair answer?
Yes. Yes. Any other comments or questions before we do C1 required approvals?
I motion we
I will
approve
entertain a
required approvals.
motion to approve. Okay, motion by Director Garza,
I'll second.
second by Director Johnson.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. And raise your hand. Aye. Okay. Approved 5-0. And something else that I wanted to say on this, can you pull up the required approvals? Can you go back for a moment? It's C1-9. We are sadly accepted a resignation by Talia, and I really would like to say take that off of there, because I never want to see you go away. I just want to take a minute to say, Talia, there's no one else that I've ever been able to see, or do I think we'll be able to keep up with Dr. Hurst, first of all. And that for a man that works 24/7 and you work 25/8, just right alongside him, and keep us all in line as to what we're even supposed to be doing and what we're not supposed to be doing. I just want to say a huge thank you for all of the dedication and the humongous hours and the amazing job that you've done for our district.
Thank you, Jen.
I'll
Thank you.
second what Jen said. I think you've done such a great job, Talia.
Okay, let's go on to C2.
Hey, Jen?
Jen's having
I
a
think-
problem with her internet.
I think Jen's internet is off.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ken.
Unless anyone else wants to share
Hey, Jen, yeah, Jen, you're having a lot, I think we're having a lot of problems with your internet.
Yeah.
I just want to kind of mimic Talia. I really appreciate the time that you have put in. I know you are constantly updating us on situations, and sometimes they've been on weekends and different hours. I know they're not regular business hours many, many times, and I just really appreciate how you've always kept us up to date and kept us involved. You will be missed, and I do wish you well in your future endeavors. And
Thank you.
Goes without saying, Talia. Your tenacity, your steadfastness,
Okay.
your perseverance. You're leaving some big shoes to fill. But like I told you on a personal conversation we had, I will never begrudge anyone who is bettering themselves. I just want to thank you for your service to the Othello School District. Like Ken said, on a board level, like everybody said, you have done a great job keeping us abreast of constant changes, different communications at different hours of the day, different days of the week, tending to sometimes our weird asks, I guess. And, anybody who can try to stay up with Dr. Hurst merits a good send-off. So thank you very much. Just know that your work was, and will always be greatly appreciated. And like Ken said, best of luck in your new job. I'm sure you will do great there as well. And just to thank you for myself.
Thank you.
Same
Yes.
goes for me.
I
Talia.
wanted to thank you also, Talia, and everything everyone said. And I just had to use her at 10 minutes to 7 tonight again. So she always comes through to help us out when we have individual problems. Thank you so much, and great job, and good luck for your future.
Thank you.
Same goes for me, Talia. I don't know if my internet's having issues, but I just wanted to say, if you can hear me, I think you're wonderful, both personally and professionally, and you've done such a great job, and it's definitely our loss. Being a member of the community, I'm excited for your new position and for the gains that will be to the city, and I wish you nothing but the absolute very best.
Thank you. If I could just share a few words. I've gone through 10 board members through my time here. I've been at the school district for 3.5 years, and I've gone through 10 board members. So I definitely lots of change, but it has definitely been my honor and my pleasure to serve each and every one of you, our students, our teachers, our staff, every single person in the OSD. It has been my absolute pleasure. And I'm just really, really excited for this new adventure. And I'm just really happy that in my new capacity as the grant administrator here at the in the city of Othello, I'll be able to, still be able to work for our students, for our community. And I'm looking forward to that. Othello's home, and it has a really special place in my heart. So I'm really, really excited. But thank you for everything to each and every one of you.
Dr. Hurst, did you want to say anything or no?
Oh, wow, Jen, you're putting me on the spot. I am not an emotional person, but this one is hard for me. I did have an opportunity to speak to the executive team, and I talked to Talia, off to the side. This is certainly a very bitter, sweet moment, certainly for the organization and for me. She's worked with me for 4 years, and as you know, she's extremely talented, gifted, and skilled. It's going to certainly be a hole in our system. She would definitely be missed, but I think we all know Talia. She's a hard charger. She's very skilled. She's very talented, and I'm happy for her. I'm genuinely happy for her and for this new opportunity, and I'm very excited. So even though she's going on to better things, I'm genuinely happy for her, but she will definitely be missed by myself, the executive team, and the board and the organization. So we're going to miss her.
Motion to approve Councilor Moore.
I am having problems catching that. Is anybody else?
I can't understand a word. Janice.
Mike, you may have to take over the meeting back unless Jen could get her internet back.
Are you there, Jen?
I can try again. Anyone, can you hear me now?
I motion to approve the January 2021 early warrant payables too.
I second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can call for a vote, Jen.
All in favor?
Aye.
With an aye?
Aye.
Aye.
And I will be abstaining from this vote.
Okay, vote passes with 4 yeas and 1 abstention. Can you hear me now? Did you get any of that? Mike.
Okay, moving on to item C3, superintendent informational items. There is a couple of reports there. Don't know if there's something you want to discuss first, Chris, or?
Yeah. We put 2 items in here. We've had it in previous board agendas. It's the one that says Department of Health water sampling for lead in schools, and then the other one, update on lead water testing. We had one board member to request that we add these items. And we just wanted to know if there's any specific questions. We did invite Greg to the agenda. So if there's any questions about lead testing in our schools, feel free to ask to Greg at this time.
Let's see if you can hear me. Are you getting me now? No.
We can hear you, Jen, but it's like an echo, and it's like you're in a tunnel or something. Some words we can't make out, unfortunately.
She can call my phone and then.
Any questions for Greg on the lead in the water? I guess I would, Greg, since you're here. So our testing is up to date, or any requirements that are asked of us, that is kosher and up to date with what's required of us?
Yes, Mike, everything is up to date.
Very good. Thank you for that.
Oh, this is going to be echoey. So I'm on the phone with Dr. Hurst so that you can hear my questions. So it would thank you for including all of these reports. It was great to see that even those, there were a couple of faucets that came back really high numbers, and then they were retested, and so everything was fine. I just wanted to see what those details were from, even though it was 2018. So thank you.
It
Greg,
used
how
to
many-
just be 2020, but now it's 2021. So how?
I hope Jen put the disclosure out in the beginning is what I hope.
Greg, how often do they do these testings with the requirement of years between?
There's no requirement on testing. Orland's done them periodically throughout the years just to be safe. And this particular lead testing, where we did 3 separate schools, it was a Department of Health contacting us, asking if they could come into our schools and do the testing. And we, of course, said, yes, please come in and check for us. That'd be great. And but there's no requirement.
Okay.
The city is required to test for it, I believe, quarterly, and their tests always come back very good.
All right. Do you have any other explanations on the other 2 documents, Dr. Hurst?
Yes, if you can open up the equity workshop. For the equity workshops, we wanted to inform the board of the work that has been happening. I did share previously in a board meeting that we recognize that the board approved a policy around equity and ensuring that all of our school sites are equitable for our students. We have moved forward in training with Dr. Rodella, and I've mentioned that name to you before as well. This document represents the work that we started back in July. This is only a sample. This is work that has been happening with the executive team, the executive cabinet. However, at the very bottom where it mentions phase 2, we already are in phase 2 and have been in phase 2 with our directors and our assistant principals and our principals engaging in much of the same work. So we're very excited about the work that we're doing with educational equity. But really, we are wanting to take another step, and we're in the process of forming an educational equity committee. And I'll talk more about that with our leaders on Wednesday and tomorrow with the principals. But I just need our board to begin thinking about a board member who would like to volunteer their time to participate on these equity committee meetings. We don't have the length and we don't have dates yet. We're just asking for participation for one board member at this time. So if the board would like to think about that, who wants to volunteer, or if you have a passion around the work around educational equity, and if you want to volunteer now, then we'll certainly take your name right now, and I'll share that with the appropriate person as we're forming the committee.
I'll do it.
I would be interested as well. I don't know if you can hear me now. I don't know if you can have 2 of us.
I can take both of your names, Director Prowse and Director Stevenson, and I'll share with the appropriate person, and then we'll come back to both of you to see how that will work, and maybe it will work with 2, but I'll get some feedback from the person who's going to be leading the committee as well. But I really appreciate you, Director Prowse and Stevenson, for volunteering your time.
I know I would assume Jen feels the same way. If you can only have one of us, that's fine. I volunteer to be a part of it or not, whatever's easiest and whatever works best for people.
Thank you so much. There was one other document, Board President Garza, and that document was a DOP 3432P. It is a revised version. We know that the procedure portion typically will go into the superintendent informational items. It doesn't require approval, but it's just for your information. It is a lengthy document, Not sure if the board has had an opportunity to read it thoroughly through, but we do have Greg here as well if you have questions for him.
Is there a change in the law or something that is promoting this, or is this just this proactiveness on the district's behalf, trying to amend our policies to reflect more concise procedures for the emergencies? I agree with it. I like the changes, but I'm just wondering if there's something that caused you guys to do this.
Mike, I can tell you it's just being proactive and looking into the future. The original procedure where we had 6 fire drills required is more of a past thing. The focus now is lockdowns for inevitable events within schools and around schools that are happening. So that's what really drove me to dig in and go through this and just bring it up to date.
And Greg, I'm going to read the question from Director Stevenson, since she's having some difficulties with her internet. She did ask a question about 8 total drills for the year. What if we're not in school for 8 or more months?
Okay, the first sentence in the first paragraph says each school building in the district shall conduct at least one safety-related drill each month or portion of a month that the school is in session. We're in session for 10 months. In those 10 months, we've listed here they have to do at least 3 lockdowns. They have to do 1 shelter in place, at least 3 evacuations, and 1 earthquake. That leaves 2 drills that they get to choose what they want to do, so that they will get the 10 that they would need. So it's not a total of 8. It's anytime we have school in the month, they have to do a drill, even if they're only in school for 3 days.
Good.
Her follow-up question, Greg, was, but this school year is different.
So the WAC for this is dictated by staff and students. So even though students haven't been in the buildings have been doing drills with their staff.
Got it. Thumbs up. Another question under earthquake, C, paragraph 2. It says members, and Director Stevenson was not sure it needs to be there.
He's correct. That was supposed to be lined out, not highlighted red.
Got it. Thanks, Greg. We'll take care of that. And then another under 2K of the same section, it says move up.
That was a note I put in. I should have deleted.
Okay.
Myself.
Awesome. And I think that's it, Director Stevenson. Is that correct? Thank you very much, Greg. Any other questions from board members? The DOP?
That's why it's a first reading.
Absolutely, Mike.
Yep. No, thank you for that, Greg. I appreciate the proactiveness on the district side, especially with something so at the forefront right now, or when we're back to school with the emergency procedures. Thank you for that. Okay, moving on to item C4. There is pre-approved presentations to the board. I believe we have Mrs. Parrish, who has a presentation for us, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, hi.
Hello.
Thank you for, am I coming through loud and clear? We'd start there. All right, thanks. Yeah, I appreciate a little bit of time here to share some work we're doing in the CTE department. A couple of years ago, well, in 2019, the legislature passed a House bill that really expanded ways that students could demonstrate readiness for after high school. So in the old days, we remember they had to pass the Smarter Balance test or the old WASL. And now they're recognizing that there's lots of ways, lots of pathways to graduation. The next slide, Talia, I'll go through these pretty quick and then would be happy to answer any questions you might have. I like this slide from OSPI because it gives you some national data points. OSPI looked at both national and state and even a lot of local input on what we're seeing from our high school graduates, what they're doing in post-secondary, how prepared are they. They did lots of research around readiness in college, with employers, at work sites, and some of the information was pretty dismal. Next slide. So in a nutshell, this House bill says, well, we want to look at this, and for our state, we think that a meaningful diploma is basically a formula of these particular things. Their high school and beyond plan, which is a rigorous plan that asks them to look forward. It starts in 8th grade, and we have them do interest assessments, build their resumes, look at courses that they can take that will meet their post-secondary ideas that they're thinking that they would be good at it. Years ago, we didn't. We didn't do enough of this probably, and we didn't feel like kids were prepared. So those, the high school and beyond plan, along with meeting the 24 credits, of course, they still have graduation requirements, plus a graduation pathway now, which is a definite sequence of courses or ways that students can show that they're ready for whatever post-secondary interests they have, whether it's a college or a community college, military, a technical certificate, workforce, religious endeavors, whatever it might be. We just want to help them get there and be prepared. So the next slide shows these 7 pathways to graduation. I'm here to talk about the CTE course sequence pathway, but just so that you're aware, they also are able now, the class of 20, starting with the class of 20 last year's seniors, to take the ASVAB and achieve a certain score. And if military is reflected in their high school and beyond plan, then this is a way that they can show that they're ready for post-high school. And then there's still a lot of other options that they can meet with an ELA pathway or a math pathway through ACT and SAT, dual credit courses, AP exams. The state assessment is still definitely a way that they can show this mastery, taking transition courses. So it's pretty, they finally kind of caught up with what we've always known in high school, and especially in career and technical education, that getting kids some hands-on experiences and really seeing and exploring, finding what they're really interested in is the way to go. I do have links on all these slides to a lot more detailed descriptions if you're interested. So the CTE specifically, the next slide shows the actual RCW that we follow. And this is what my department has worked over a year on, really hard to make sure that this is a viable pathway for our kids. The 2 main requirements of this pathway are that students have to complete 2 credits of rigorous coursework. So that 2 credits can be in the form of 1 semester classes 0.5. So they could take 4 semester classes that lead to something specific. Or maybe it's 2 year-long classes, but as long as they've earned 2 credits of coursework, it can be in the same program area, or it can be across program areas. And I'm going to show you a couple examples. And these courses must include in this pathway or lead to dual credit opportunities. And that would be like our accounting course, for example. When they take and pass our accounting course, they can also earn 5 credits of accounting in the accounting program at Big Bend. We have 4 or 5, let's see, about 8 articulations now with different CTE courses. And another kind of cool thing is if you articulate or get dual credit with any community college in the state now, there's reciprocity with every community college. So our agreements happen to be with Big Bend, but they can take them to Spokane Falls Community College or Seattle Community Colleges, and they'll still accept them. Another opportunity is that these courses can include an industry recognized credential. So for example, in our health class, they get first aid and CPR, and they can get certified in that. We have food handlers cards. In our business courses, we have Microsoft Office specialist certifications. So all of those count. And the goal there is that those are resumeable things that our kids are earning, and they can take those into interviews and show employers that they've mastered these skills. So that's really exciting. And then the last thing is these pathways can lead to workforce entry, apprenticeships. So say our kids take Chef School 1 and Chef School 2 at the high school, and then they go to CB Tech and they join the culinary program there, and then go on with that into a cooking school or an art institute. This could be considered their pathway. So those are the requirements that we had to look at as a department. The next slide shows you my program areas. Our CTE programs grow every year. These are the 7 areas that are included. We do have number 4 there. You see we have some STEM going on in middle school, which is amazing. Nick Fletcher does a really good job there with those courses. Lots to talk about expanding. The first 3 are kind of the traditional ones that people think from the old vocational days and in career and technical ed, but now the health sciences number 5 there includes honors biology and anatomy and physiology. We have CTE teachers teaching those courses. So they really talk to them about professional medical careers and wherever there's needs in the workforce. Skilled in technical sciences is our criminal justice program. Chief Shank comes in and teaches an awesome introduction to criminal justice to our students. And then finally, career choices is our AVID program and a worksite learning program that we have running. So again, there's a couple of links there for more information if you're interested. The next slide is a couple of examples of what this would actually look like. I know that's a little bit hard to read, but I wanted to just kind of show you, this is what we're going to start educating our students about. This is a single program area, the top one, and I chose just to show you a business example. So if a student decided they want to be an accountant, the third one down there, then we would suggest and guide them through our advisory program and through their counselors and teachers to take computer applications 1, computer applications 2, and then a year of accounting. And as I mentioned earlier, then you're going to receive some Big Bend credit, and this now becomes your graduation pathway. The cross program areas are ones that I had to get approved through OSPI, and this particular one is for students who would like to go into law enforcement. We think a really strong pathway sequence of courses for those kids would be starting with the health class, and then taking some computers, taking our human development class. There's a lot of psychology that goes into law enforcement. And then to go ahead and take our law enforcement course. And the state approved that would be a viable pathway. So that's the work we've been doing. Our teachers have been aligning, finding where we're missing courses, looking for frameworks that would help enhance these pathways to give kids lots of opportunities. So our next steps are, in fact, this week I'm working quite a bit with Ed Peterson to create some promotional material. We have to really simplify this, but get kids to really understand that this is a cool way to go. We want parents to understand our next round of registrations right around the corner. So that's really important to me, that everybody cleanly understands, like, let's not just take random courses or because you heard that they were fun. Let's have our course choices mean something for your future. I'm here tonight to gain your approval. The local CTE pathways really need some school board approval. Plus, I always think it's good for you to be aware of kind of the new things that are going on in the district. And then we'll just be able to help more kids really find their way and make high school more meaningful. So that's where I'm at with the CTE program. What questions do you have?
I don't have any questions. I just want to compliment you on this. I am a big proponent of this, and I think it's a great, great way to go for some students, especially even some of those students that struggle through high school. This will help give them a career pathway and get them involved in some of the things that they like. It will help them in their career, you know, post-secondary career after graduation and stuff too. It leads them on that pathway. I really love this. This is great.
Thank you, Ken.
I want to second what Ken says. Like, I think this is so great, Amy. I love, love, love the idea of giving kids some sort of a path and something that they're interested in. My biggest complaint about my journey to get my bachelor's degree was 2 years of schoolwork that didn't pertain to what I wanted to do. My first 2 years of prereqs. And so I love this, that it's purpose driven and it's a path forward for kids to really get them excited and involved in their future and just giving them the jump start. So I think this is so great. Good for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun. Sometimes we're already seeing students be like, I did an interest assessment last year, you know, and but I've already answered these questions. And what's kind of fun is by the second or third year that they've done it, they start to see a pattern, and we show them, well, you thought you wanted to be a professional soccer player in 8th grade, and now you're a junior, and we have a little bit more serious look at what's going on. So what courses should you be taking now? Or I've always wanted to be a teacher. They still want to be a teacher, and they're in teaching academy, and they're tutoring, and they're doing everything they need. So it is great. It's a good time to be in a position like this, because just a decade ago, everyone was going to college. That was the push. And as we know, we have a lot of people that had a lot of debt and didn't finish, and it was a struggle. So more and more, we're recognizing that there's all kinds of viable ways to get through this life. So thank you. I appreciate the time, and come and visit us anytime in the CTE department.
Jen, I see you're unmuted.
I want to see if you can you hear me?
Go ahead, Jen.
I want to move that we approve these graduation pathways.
I'll
Okay,
second that. Sorry.
Okay, there's been a motion made by Director Stevenson to approve the CTE pathway presentation tonight, seconded by Director Schutte. Amy, kudos. Your entire team, all the counselors that are helping you, or teachers, whoever's on your team, great job. I think there's a banner somewhere that says that we want our instruction to be intentional and rigorous and all this other stuff, and where you guys can pinpoint it, and a young man who wants to be a welder can do that. Wants to be an electrician. A young lady you mentioned wants to be a chef. I mean, the fact that we as a district are providing those opportunities is what we're about. Continue to stay on that. Great job, great presentation. And thank you to anybody who was with you on that. There's been a motion, it's been seconded. All in favor of approving CTE graduation pathways, aye?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Great work, Amy, thank you.
Mike, I just wanted to let Amy know this is so encouraging. I can just see this is such a great push from being on the online, and when the kids go back to school, this is so wonderful that they can continue with this program, and it's awesome. Very awesome, Amy. What a great job.
Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Moving on to item D1, assurance of organizational performance, excuse me. We have a couple of ELs, EL3, treatment of stakeholders and customers, EL4, staff compensation and treatment. Dr. Hurst has submitted monitoring reports. Is there any discussion before I accept a motion to accept these reports? I will entertain a motion to accept monitoring reports for EL3 and EL4.
I will make that motion.
Okay, motion's been made by Director Johnson. Can I get a second?
I will second.
Seconded by Director Prowse. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye.
Aye.
I
Motion carries 5-0. Moving on to item E1, policy review. There are multiple items on here. There are several that are final readings. So what I will do is I'll try to put the final readings into a single motion, trying to save us some time here. So I'll entertain a motion to accept final readings for GP2, GP7, GP 14.1.
I move that we accept those 3 final readings as you stated.
Okay, it's been motioned by Director Stevenson. Can I get a second?
I second.
Seconded by Director Prowse. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay.
Aye.
The other items on there, Talia, correct me if I'm wrong, no one submitted any changes. I didn't see any red crossings through anything.
That's correct.
Okay,
I
so
think
those,
we need to talk about. Oh, sorry, those just.
go ahead,
Yeah,
Jen.
I think we need to talk about that one. Was the only one I was concerned about.
Okay. The calendar that
do
includes
we
all our
want
future visits.
currently, Oasis is listed. Right. So we have both Desert Oasis and Othello High scheduled for February. And Wahidas is much later on. Do we want to move Wahidas just to finish that up, or leave it as suggested?
I would like to leave it as suggested, and that gives them, it'll give us some time to perhaps compare some of the data. I mean, there was no real numbers or anything, kind of sort of how they're doing things, but I think we go visit them again in April.
I agree.
Okay, just wanted to check.
If I could just say something.
We just
Today, you mentioned that you would not, or the board would not want to do policy governance training for potential student reps before the student rep interview. So we would have to eliminate this date right here.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and make that deletion, Talia, and bring this back to the next meeting.
Sounds good.
Or make sure it's there for the next meeting. I shouldn't say bring it back. I'm getting used to it.
Okay.
Sorry. So Jen, excuse me, Director Stevenson. I'm sorry, Jen, I interrupted. Was that the only observation you had on the remaining documents, Jen?
Yeah, that was it.
So can we make this a final reading for the next board meeting?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Okay, moving forward to item F1. The Board of Directors will now go into an executive session for 20 minutes to consider the minimum price at which real estate will be offered for sale or lease. No action will be taken following the executive session. So to the community who is with us tonight, thank you very much for listening. We appreciate it as always. Sorry for the technical difficulties we've encountered a little bit of tonight, but greatly appreciate you guys listening to us conduct our meeting. Thank you very much.
Hey, Mike.
So we will, yes,
Mike,
Lindsay.
Just really quick, I want to say one thing. As my last week as the WIAA representative for the school board, I I just wanted to announce that Jenny McCourty was named CWAC Athletic Director of the Year. So kudos
Bravo.
to our athletic director. She's amazing. And that kind of recognition for especially being one of the only females in her field, for her age, for all of the things. She's the standout in our league, and we should all be very proud of her. So congratulations to Jenny McCourty for being the CWAC Athletic Director of the Year.
No, congratulations, Jenny. And I did receive or saw somewhere where you're trying to reach out to other districts to see if we can get some interaction, some actual playing time for our kids. Greatly appreciated. Keep up the good work. Thanks for bringing that up, Lindsay. Great job. Great job, Jenny. We will now take however long it takes us to get to our link on the executive session. Thank you very much, Community of Othello. Let's keep doing what we can to get our numbers to get them to keep going down. We appreciate you all. Stay safe, and thank you very much.